You know what? I wish a lot of black people would shut the hell up about Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. Let me explain why I'm saying that. I've watched people do these commentaries. Oh, they sitting here giving the white girl more contracts than the black person. All this back and forth. Let me remind people of something. The NBA was in the gutter. The NBA was considered a drugged fuel league. In fact, let me help you all out. My Houston Rockets played the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. I think that was 81. It was on tape delay. Let me say that again. It was on tape delay, the NBA Finals. The news came on at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Central in Houston, and they showed the game on tape delay after the news went off. That's how much the NBA sucked. Yet two people came into the league, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And the reality is those two individuals representing two iconic franchises, Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers, they played these against each other in the NCAA National Championship game. That created the energy that revived and turned around the NBA. And so I was just seeing today, because the WNBA announced that teams now will be able to do charter flights. Somebody was like, oh, here it is. Now they doing charters because the video came out of Caitlin Clark walking through the airport having to be surrounded by security. Nope. The reason they now are going to have charters in the WNBA, because they now have more money. Their media rights deal is going to be a much higher deal than it was in the past. That's what's going on. Amazon and another major company announced, Amazon and Adidas, I think, announced a major investment in terms of WNBA players. I need people to sometimes chill the hell out with, oh my goodness, there's like the white girl getting all this attention. Here's the whole deal. Let me just help folks out, because it ain't hard. There are more white people in America. Yep, those are the numbers. And so if you're an advertiser and you're going to market a Caitlin Clark, who, whether you like it or not, did break numerous records, great. But let me help everybody out there who's complaining about something. When a black guy started playing golf, you know what happened? TV contracts got renegotiated and the purses went through the roof. It's a whole bunch of white golfers sitting there like, man, I'm glad Tiger came along, because we all got paid if Tiger come along. Versus sitting here complaining about Caitlin Clark and, why these things are happening because of Caitlin Clark. Maybe folks should step back and now realize that with the resurgence of the ratings and the basketball ratings and what's going to happen with WNBA and now more attention, guess what? Everybody's now going to get paid more money. So I'm not tripping about the attention being paid to Caitlin Clark. I'm like, good. Because the vast majority of players in the WNBA are black. Which now means that if the value of the WNBA increases, the salaries of black players increase. That now means that you're going to have more contracts, more endorsement deals for other players. And let's stop tripping. You've had some great white female ball players before. Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Rebecca Lobo. Y'all, come on. I just think that sometimes folk are so touchy if they don't realize what's going on. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and all the other players is great for women's basketball. And I hope the ratings go through the roof. The demand of play, that was, the WNBA did not show the first preseason game of the Chicago Sky. Now, I'm going to blame the Chicago Sky owners. Because see, guess what? The Indiana Fever owners, they rolled the red carpet for Caitlin Clark. They completely capitalized on her popularity. They had the jersey ready, everything. Chicago Sky, that Angel Reese news conference, that shit sucked. It sucked ass. It was horrible. I blame ownership for that. I blame management for that. If you're the Chicago Sky and you ain't marketing Angel Reese right, that's on you. Not the WNBA, but I want black folks to recognize that if Caitlin Clark causes the WNBA's media rights to skyrocket and jersey sales to skyrocket and all of these teams become elevated, I'm good with that. Because a lot of black ball players are going to benefit as well. Let's go to my panel, chat about this here. Kelly, I've watched a lot of women's hoops. When Texas A&M went to the NCAA championship, played Notre Dame. They beat Stanford in the semifinals. I booked a flight to Indianapolis. I was there for the championship game when they won. Hugely supportive of my man, Gary Blair was the head coach. I grew up in Houston. We watched the Houston Comets, the first dynasty in the WNBA, win 3 championships. Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper, as well as Cheryl Swoops. When I look at it, I remember the UConn, Tennessee games were just legendary. I mean, you're seeing this, but I just think a lot of people are being way too damn sensitive. As if, oh my goodness, how they mistreating the sister, Angel Reese versus the white girl getting all the attention. I'm sorry. The Indiana Fever were prepared to blow everything out of the water. Chicago Sky were not. And guess what? Again, just like with Tiger, if Caitlin Clark's presence causes ratings to skyrocket and money to skyrocket, everybody benefits, not just her.
I think 2 things can be true at the same time. Your viewpoint of Caitlin Clark elevating the visibility of the NBA, elevating the value of the WNBA, that very well may be true because she's an excellent ball player. I'm not going to take that away from her. I can't take that away from her. The stats speak for themselves. But there is a point of contention being that she is getting this exposure because she's white. It's not that black women basketball players weren't ever as good as Caitlin Clark. They were. They just didn't get that attention.
But also, also nobody was watching.
But they weren't watching because they were black women.
They weren't watching because we live in a sports world that was male dominated, and the people who are sitting. First of all, you had some white girls hooping back then too. So it wasn't like Cheryl Miller, Teresa Witherspoon, Dawn Staley. It was just them. You had some white girls hooping. We're just simply seeing the league and the embracing of women's sports come of age. And I'm like, great. Clark, Reese, whoever, everybody come along, because finally they can now start making real money in America and I ain't got to go overseas.
Mm-hmm. Again, true. But there's layers to this. It's not just the fact that, there's an elevation of women's sports, but the elevation specifically when it comes to the WNBA and Caitlin Clark, it's because Caitlin Clark is white. I mean, that is a layer to it, right? I'm not saying, again, I'm not dismissing her accomplishments. I'm not trying to inflate Reese's accomplishment.
Got it.
But again, the reason why we're seeing a lot of what we're seeing in the WNBA is because their star player is a white woman.
And if Larry Bird was not white, and when Magic Johnson came out, you would not have seen the reaction in the NBA.
Exactly. I'm just saying, like, we just need to recognize that there are layers to this. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but the layer that people are talking about the most is the fact that she's a white woman.
And who can hoop
as well.
Who can hoop? At the end of the day, she ain't just white, Michael. She can hoop.
Yeah, there are layers to this. I think some people, I watched some of the commentary on MSNBC, and I watched some of the commentary from sports analysts who really follow the WNBA. So I remember when the WNBA started, and I watched it. We had the Detroit Shock here in Detroit. The owner of the Detroit Shock sold them because really there was a lack of support here in Detroit. But also the WNBA, the way it was promoted, okay, just in general, the way it was promoted, I think you see more interest in it now than you have over the past few years. A few things have happened. Number one, I think the fight to get Brittany Griner released from Russia, I think that helped to draw attention to to how little WNBA players were being played, and the fact that she had to play for a Russian team to make $1 million a season playing for Russia and couldn't get that here in the U.S. And then we know there were contract renegotiations. I think it was last year for WNBA players, and then also the NCAA championship, the rematch between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, that drew a record number of viewers. And like for myself, for the first time, I watched some of the WNBA draft. I don't ever remember watching any of the WNBA draft in the past. So it draws all of this attention, increase in ticket sales, viewership, as well as jerseys. That helps benefit everybody. And we know Angel Reese has contracts. We know even in college, Angel Reese had contracts. Caitlin Clark has a contract with Xfinity and others. So this is going to help everybody. But because this is America, there's always usually some racism in it as well.
But see, but to me, it's not even a question of racism. Look, I get all of that. I understand history. I understand all those things. But I also understand marketing. And what I understand, Matt, is that if I'm looking at this here, and I'm also looking at how first of all these WNBA teams have been losing money, all of them.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And so now you see what's happening in college. In order to actually build something, you need stars. You need stars that transcend their sports, and you had other stars, but the reality is, were they marketable stars? Maybe. But the reality is, when you have a player that crosses a certain threshold, that crosses a sports threshold, that now has what Michael just said, he sat and actually watched the WNBA draft. What now happens is, when you have a player of that caliber, then what you do is you latch onto that. David Stern wasn't crazy. David Stern said, hell yeah, I got to latch on to Michael Jordan. And he was black. Because the reality is, you have to understand, it's a marketing game. You're competing in a sports landscape where you have the behemoth of the NFL. The second behemoth is the NBA. The third behemoth is Major League Baseball. Look, the PGA Tour for all of guess what? That tour is only worth $1.25 billion. That's far away from baseball, basketball, and football. We talk about the WNBA, you're lower than hockey. You might be on par, you're probably lower even than Major League Soccer. So I dare say, the people kind of like, man, this is a damn shame what they doing. A bunch of these people who also would support Angel Reese never even followed WNBA. And I'll give y'all something. I did not know until somebody tweeted They said all these teams are avoiding the Las Vegas Aces. And I was like, huh? I didn't know that the WNBA teams, they pick their own preseason opponents. Those games are not scheduled by the league. I was like, wow. Why? Because I don't follow WNBA like that. And so a lot of people who are commenting are new to WNBA,
right.
Don't know nothing about the history, don't know nothing about anything at all. And so they're like, I can't believe her game wasn't on. Y'all, they barely had their games on regular season. So what the WNBA now has to do, they now got to play a massive game of catch up because the interest of these incoming stars is now driving the fandom, and now the league is going to have to recalculate, and the teams are going to have to recalculate. And so you take the Washington franchise. If you're the Mystics, which is one in WNBA championship, they play their game somewhere else. If Caitlin Clark is coming to town, better put that damn thing in Capital One. That's just marketing 101, Matt.
I don't think you're wrong, but I think you are focused myopically on the economic part of this.
You damn right I am.
This comes at the expense of a league that was comprised of already 60% players. And look at this. The reason Caitlin Clark has skyrocketed as the person that the WNBA has gotten behind is she is dominant. I mean, you're not telling the truth if you don't say she's not a fantastic athlete. However, she's also an Iowan. She's a Midwestern, inoffensive white woman who fits the exact prototype of who they want to run with to be the great white hope. Look at Larry Bird, French Lick, Indiana. I mean, how much did they play up that here's this country hick who can hoop with all the inner city brothers?
No. Hold on, let's be clear. That same country hick was like, don't y'all put no white dude on me to guard me. That's disrespectful. That same white boy said, y'all better put a brother on me to show me some respect for my game. He could hoop.
And he was cold, and Caitlin Clark can hoop. There's no question with that. But the reality is she fits an archetype that is marketable, more marketable than some of the women who are already in the league. And to not discuss that is to purposely overlook clear evidence. And here's the thing. Kelly said it perfectly. That's why I hate when I go second or third, because two things can be true at the same time, right? And the WNBA would be, asinine. It would not be smart to not capitalize on this momentum, but we cannot be dishonest as though this momentum is not behind an archetypal white woman who is offensive and who fits that prototype.
And what I'm saying is we also
It is inherent that black people will see that and take umbrage with that. I don't think there's a problem with that. Two things can be true at the same time.
And guess what?
Coverage. Caitlin Clark ran into a fan on the court, right? And there were all kinds of equivocations about why that happened and why it wasn't as problematic. But Angel Reese, motions to her in the championship game, and she's the spawn of Satan. And the reality is, even if the WNBA is capitalizing on this, we cannot overlook the fact that Caitlin Clark fits a prototype that is more marketable than a black woman in a black-dominated sport. That is just the truth of it.
And
I don't think people are wrong for seeing it.
And let me be clear. When Tiger Woods came out, what was marketed, he was black, he was different, he was dominant, and guess what? Every single white player, every single tour stop, they all were like, ooh, yeah, Lord. Because you know why? Tiger got all of them paid. And all I'm saying is this here, I ain't gonna be mad. If the white girl come in here and hoop, and she sit here and drive interest and drive ratings, we all gonna get paid. Because guess what? The NBA was majority black when Larry and Magic came in. And there was a lot of black ball players who were jealous of hell of Magic Johnson and the contract he got. But guess what? All them same players got paid big deals because of Magic and Larry. All I'm saying is, y'all folk can be mad, upset. Caitlin getting this, I want Caitlin Clark to blow the hell up. because that means the 60+% of black ball players, salaries are going to increase, sponsorship's going to increase, marketing deals going to increase. So I'm all for it. Go right ahead. Ball out. I want Caitlin Clark to do for the sisters what Tiger Woods did for the white boys in golf. Make everybody richer.
If that happened in a vacuum, I'd be completely with you. But it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens where she is compared to the black women and is lionized, where those black women are looked at as less than valuable. I mean, look at Emmanuel Acho's comments. And first off, when we talk about Angel
First of all, Emmanuel Acho could go to hell. But go ahead.
Well, I appreciate your directness and forthrightness in your opinion.
I ain't never been I ain't never operated in a gray area.
I appreciate that. But the point to that is the expense is there's a rising tide lifts all boats, but it has been at the expense of black women in exchange for the great white hope.
But actually it hasn't. Here's the reality. If anyone studies the game, if you study the WNBA, what you have seen is this. You've seen a slow, steady increase. Let's be real clear. You have had white superstars come out of college. Again, Sue Bird, Taurasi. I can name several. You've had black stars, Maya Moore, Aja Wilson. You could name all of them. But the reality is, we all understand once in a generation. Magic and Larry were once in a generation. Michael Jordan was once in a generation. Tiger Woods was once in a generation. It happens. And so there's going to be somebody who hits at the right time, at the right moment, and all of a sudden catapults a sport. I'm using Tiger as an example. You had Arnold, you had Jack, you had Johnny Miller, you had Tom Kite, you had Tom Watson, but none of them brought what Tiger brought. And what I'm saying is all the other golfers, the purses in golf were like $1.5 million. That shit went to 3, 4, 5, rising. Hell, one of the reasons why they worry right now about the Saudi Arabian folk, because Tiger is so hurt, he ain't winning, they ain't gonna get no big media deal. All I'm saying is, I am not going to be mad with what happens with Caitlin Clark, because guess what? A bunch of folk who are black are about to get paid real well. Real well. And you know what? The franchises, you're going to see more marketing, more visibility, more games on broadcast network, a better deal, and that's going to also then spur more interest in women's college basketball, women's high school basketball. It's going to come all the way down. So I'm here for it. I ain't going to complain about it because I ain't got no problem seeing Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, Aja Wilson, all these folks over the next decade. So I'm like, Caitlin, come in here, hoop your ass off, and get everybody paid.
You're right. But
because one of the reasons Brittany Griner had to go to Russia, because they could not make a lot of money in the WNBA. So I'm down with it. That's
what I was saying.
I'm down with it. I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, hey, Caitlin, go score your 40. Go right ahead.
CNN's coverage was a picture of Iowa losing the championship, right? Because she's the great white hope. And I'm not taking anything away from her. I think she's a dominant athlete, and I think she is a generational talent. But we would be obtuse to not look at the fact that part of the reason they have run with her the way they have is because she is the great white hope.
Let me ask you this question. If Tiger Woods was in the final group in the Masters and he lost by one stroke, would the winner's photo have been on CNN.com?
Yes.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
No, it wouldn't. I'm telling you right.
When he was in his prime.
No, Kelly.
When he first got on the scene, Yes, they would.
No, Kelly.
If he was in the same standing as Caitlyn,
no, Kelly.
yes, they would.
Kelly, you didn't hear you didn't hear the question. You didn't hear what I said. You didn't hear what I said. What I said is the Masters was last month. If Tiger Woods was in the final group and Tiger Woods came up one shot short of the Masters, who would have been on the front of CNN.com? Tiger loses the Masters by 1, not whoever won. You know why? Do you know why? Do you know why? Because whoever won ain't as marketable as Tiger. Now,
but you're
hold up. Now, I'm telling you how editorial decisions are made. Now, what happened was CNN got their ass ripped. CNN got their ass ripped, and they had to actually change that. But that is what happens when folk focus on an individual and not team. But I'm telling you, bottom line is this here. What Caitlin Clark is going to do, I'm going to compare it to Michael Jordan. The deal that she signed with Nike, the deal that Michael signed with Nike. Magic and Bird saved the WNBA and took it here. Michael Jordan took it here to a whole new level. And Michael was black. If Caitlin Clark does that, every player is going to benefit. I ain't gonna be mad. I'm gonna get paid. I'm telling you, y'all can write this down right now. All three of y'all, write this day right now, write down 8:06 p.m. I guarantee you the average salary of the WNBA players in 5 years will more than double and possibly triple what it is today, because their television rights deals are going to be a lot higher than it was before this year. Watch it happen. That means everybody gets paid. So I'm cool with everybody getting paid. I'm cool with it. Except Michael and Sigmas. But I'm cool with it.
I don't have a problem with it.
I'm cool. No, I'm just saying, it's just going to be. And if,
no one's going to happen.
And all them franchises, y'all watch this year. You're going to see folk walking around with Mystic shirts. You like, damn, I ain't never seen this many Mystic shirts in D.C. I ain't never seen. Y'all still got y'all team in Detroit, Michael?
No, I was saying no. And the Detroit Shock won at least 3 championships that I remember. And it was sold because of really lack of support here in Detroit. So it was sold maybe 8 to 10 years ago, something like that. But with the popularity of the WNBA increasing, with Detroit just having the NFL draft here, and the Lions just making the playoffs as well early this year.
I'll put another bet. I'm going to do another bet.
Detroit could get a WNBA.
I'm going to do another bet.
Team again.
I bet they bring your team back, and trust me, they're going to bring the Houston Comets back. You know why? Because now WNBA franchises are now going to be able to make some money.
Yes.
They were losing money, all of them, the whole league. The league has been.
They used to give away tickets for the Shock. They used to give away tickets.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Y'all watch. Everybody about to get paid. So all the sisters, cash them checks. Cash the checks and be like them white boys in golf. They were like, Tiger, appreciate that, dog. Appreciate that. It's going to happen. And you know what? It's going to be great. It's going to be great because the ratings are also going to go to the next level. So I can't wait to see what I call the WNBA 3.0. We had 1.0, we had 2.0. What you see this year is going to take them to a whole new level. And then when you get the stars coming out of college next year,
right,
it's going to be what? The girl Paige from UConn. Then you've got the other star. I'm telling y'all, it's going to be a whole new deal. I can't wait for it.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.